Welcome to Blade Talk with Scab and Joe.
Welcome to Blade Talk with your YouTube host, Joe Steele of the Steel Mindset, and Scab of Choir Boys Outdoors. Here we talk about blades, the people who bring them to us, and why we love them.
So sit back, relax, we got a really good show for you.
Let's welcome our hosts into the room. This is Blade Talk with Scab and Joe.
Here on Blade Talk and our corresponding channels, we recognize our U.S. veterans. For all their sacrifices and their struggles, our beloved veterans, you're always welcome and respected. Enjoy the show.
It's a pretty long intro, I got to say, but I like it. I like it. I think it's all important stuff. All important stuff. Welcome to Blade Talk, everybody, with Scab and Joe. I appreciate you guys being here. I know there's a couple people in the room right now in the chat room. We are trying something different right now. Now, I tried this with another live that I put out. We're going live right now on, obviously, we're going live on my channel and on Scab's channel, Choir Boys Outdoors and the Steel Mindset. But on both our channels, we're going live in vertical format and horizontal format simultaneously. That's some serious witchcraft shit there, okay? I got to tell you. But we got basically 4 streams going on right now. I'm curious to see how this show turns out in terms of following, because obviously we all know that in the live shorts, live vertical format, you get a lot more people coming in that are not sub, yada, yada, yada. So I'm just curious to see how this works out. I have 2 screens here. I know how it looks on vertical and on horizontal. I may be a little cropped off on the short, so I'll try to keep conscious of both screens at the same time. But yes, this Blade Talk, we have Jack Billings coming in as a guest a little bit later in the show from Shed Knives. He's got some important announcements, great announcements to make about some really great new look to his knife products right now. Old and new. We're going to show it all, and we're going to be looking forward to having that into the show. But we're going to do something a little different this time. We're going to basically start the show off with Scab and I for a little bit, just to get reacquainted. I haven't spoken to Scab a little bit. We haven't done Blade Talk in a little while. We're going to just get reacquainted as far as what's been going on. Scab had a big camping trip. I had some knives I reviewed, and life goes on. So let's get Scab into the room. Let's get Blade Talk kicking off, and stay tuned for Jack to be our guest to come into the room a little bit later into the show. All right, Mr. Scab, you ready to go? I got a nod. All right, there you go. How are you, Scab?
I'm good, brother. How you doing?
So you are now officially a knife teacher. You're a teacher of knives?
I have a doctorate of knifeology.
You graduated this weekend, didn't you? Okay, good.
I you know how humble I am and don't like talking about myself.
Not at all, never.
So I'm gonna break that and talk about myself. I actually went to Doe Lake in Umatilla, Florida, to Rewild Outdoors' gathering. Sean Strickland, Rewild Outdoors. And on Friday, I got to teach a class on how to choose a knife. I just posted the video, so anybody interested, check that out. We had Stephanie Beeson was there from Naked and Afraid. Her husband joined her. We had Blackie Thomas. Dave Canterbury was there. I got to interview Dave. That was really, really cool. We had 9 or 10 awesome instructors, Joe. And me and Megan were talking, we got to get you down. We'll have to put you in a hotel. But we got 9 or 10 instructors, and I wished I knew I remembered all of them right up until we come on, but it was an awesome time. And then 2 weeks ago, man, I went to Blackie's and I got to meet JR for the first time ever.
Yes, I haven't spoken to you about that at all yet. So how'd that happen? How'd that work out?
Bro, it was the hottest weather we've had. The first time we ever had gnats everywhere. JR woke up he gets up at 3:30 in the morning anyway, but he was woken up one night by some snoring at 1:30, and then the next night we had some assholes, kids being kids, woke everybody up. But I got to tell you, man, it was awesome. Blackie Thomas, if y'all have never been, it's open to everybody. All you got to do is mind your P's and Q's. It ain't hard.
Mhm.
We have a great group that goes to Lake Geneva. But dude, JR was awesome. He was, man, we just hit it off. Just like you and I did the first time
That's
we
awesome.
actually met. Great guy.
And you guys never really, if I'm not mistaken, before this meeting, and with all that you guys have been through, and all the knives he sent you, and everything about you and your channel with him and getting started, you guys never actually spoke on the phone, right?
Boy, we've never talked on the phone.
That's fucking crazy.
And
That's
I got,
crazy.
he was about an hour and a half behind me. We talked the entire, we had a great time. And then all
That's
the
awesome.
racers, and again, guys, if everybody's welcome, it's in Geneva State Forest. We have it right there on the lake. It's Blackie Thomas's gathering. I think he's coming back. It's going to be either March or April.
Right.
And if you've never been, man, it's worth it because
Wait,
it's
Alabama, right? Alabama?
Yeah, South
Alabama.
Alabama. If you go get on if you were to fly into Jacksonville, Florida, or Tallahassee, you just get on I-10, go west at Marietta, you head north, and you're there in about 30 minutes.
Okay.
But JR was awesome, dude. I've got a bunch of new knives we're going to review. He sent some knives for Kurt to check out at Kirksville. So it was great. What you got going on, man? We hadn't talked in a damn
We
Tuesday.
haven't spoken in a while. I have been basically very busy with life. I have been getting a couple videos out. Some actually got a lot coming because I'm getting into destroying stuff these days. I think people are searching me out to start destroying swords because obviously we had this whole thing back in the day with the sword steel, as far as them not delivering on the promises of certain type of super steels. And that whole conspiracy went, and then I made a promise, obviously, that I would get down to the bottom of it. I would make sure that they're held accountable, and I would do my best to make sure that the steel that they're doing, that they're supposed to be giving you is legit. So now I got companies that are sending me their swords to break, so I can prove I can get, and then I'm going to send them out to the lab, get the metal tested, and prove that basically it is what it is. So I have one I'm in ongoing right now that I did break, and I'm waiting for the lab results to come back, and I'm going to release that when I have it, and it goes on from there. Yeah.
So now companies have agreed to send these to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think they want to show themselves in good faith now to people they wronged.
Sure. That's going to open a whole another can of worms, or you'll get the whole, well, they send you something different and all that shit. But
yeah, well, I have ways to combat. I'm already prepared. I'm prepared, my friend. I know what's coming for me, but I am prepared. The Scott Grunt guys, everybody, welcome into the room. I appreciate you guys. I know there's a lot of new faces here from the shorts feed. And if you're new to the channel, guys, it's Choir Boys Outdoors and the Steel Mindset. Please be so kind to subscribe, like, and share the videos and all that fun stuff. It helps us out a lot. That I got a package of 3 new swords from Cat Siberia literally today.
Okay.
And they are amazing, Scab. Amazing. I did an unboxing today. I have to still edit that out. I have to post that. So that's coming. One thing that I realized from dealing with Lucas Carroll is the fact that you don't have to settle for a knife that you don't like.
No.
I did a review on the Les George knife.
Yeah.
And you remember the handle on that Les George knife, the Tonto, the George Cool name knife. It was that polycarbonate freaking plasticky bubble wrap type of freaking handle.
Yeah. Bullshit.
Yeah. Other than that, the blade was wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it just I'll try not even to show you the handle, but the blade itself is a wonderful blade. You can have use on it because I did a lot of work on it, but it's a wonderful blade, chamfered on the top, really beautiful geometric, 1095 chrome, man. And then you add the scales on there, and you just got a totally different knife.
Yeah. Well,
it just completely changes it,
I'm glad you brought up Lucas. I don't know if he's in the room, but when I was camping, Chris Hall, who you've heard me mention, Chris had gifted me. He's gifted me a lot of things, but he gifted me this Ontario, this Bolo. I'm
Okay.
wondering if Lucas could do something with those scales.
Does
Dude,
it look like they can come off?
I don't. It's how Ontario did them down.
Oh yeah, the wrapped stacked shit. Yeah, yeah.
It's
That's a tough
it's
one.
that rubber,
That's a tough one.
and that thing right there will wear your hand. And I work with my hands. It's not that. That some bitch right there will beat you to death. I'm gonna send him a picture of it because I think he said he had some Hellion scales sending to me.
Yeah, I got some Hellion scales coming from him
Did
right
you?
now. Yep.
Now is that for your Ranger?
The Ranger.
Okay.
I'm hoping it's the wait. Oh, you know what? I gotta double check with him that it's the Ranger. I'm hoping it is. I gotta double check with him.
Do you have the big one?
No, I have just the Hellion Ranger.
Okay,
The Ranger version.
If you don't, I'll send you the big one. If you want to play with it.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. I actually gotta, now that you reminded me, I gotta check to see if he's sending me which Hellion scales he's actually sending me. But just getting back to his stuff, man. Listen, he completely changes a knife. I mean, just adding new scales in, and plus because I explained it in the video, is the way, for some reason, a lot of the new knives that K-Bar is doing, for some reason, the tang is like crowning over the scale, so you kind of feel the tang in your hand. And the way he designs it, basically it's more of a seamless transition and then you don't feel the tang, you just feel the scales in your hand, and it crowns over the tang itself. So he just does a great job in improving just an otherwise excellent knife. He just goes ahead and just improves it basically with the scales. So I mean, listen, I can't recommend it enough. You don't have to settle for bad scales. That's the premise of what I'm trying to convey here.
The dude slaughters it, man. I mean, he slaughters it. He's good at it. I'm glad we had him on. I was going to ask you something. I can't remember. Anyway, so what all do you got coming up? I know you got swords coming up. You got any knives coming up?
I got some budget knives that I've had some companies talk. I mean, I have a company. What the fuck is the company's name? Shit.
Is it Mossy Oak?
No, not Mossy Oak.
They're always sending me a Bowie from Mossy Oak.
Oh yeah, I know that one you're talking about.
So that's awesome because now I don't have to respond to them. You got one of these, don't you? Is it an Odachi, Joe?
Yeah, I have that Odachi throw club, the throw club.
Okay.
Throw club. That's the knife, throw club, and it looks like a nice little budget, jammy. And I haven't done one of those in a little while, so I'm probably going to do a couple of those. I have some lead lights that I've been reviewing for like EDC. I'm trying to get into like the whole survival aspect of if all shit hits the fan, like what do you want to be caught? You don't want to be caught with your pants down. What do you want to basically have with you? What's important? What's important to have? Trying to incorporate things like LED lights, tactical lights, and things like that. High solar powered watches with compasses attached. Things that you would need.
Dude, look, I just saw a thing on YouTube. It was an advertisement for one of those 10-piece walking canes with the spear, compass, and the stock, and the knife, the feather rod. I thought about buying one just to see. The problem with shit like that is they make it just good enough to review. And then when you go, if you actually need it, you're shit out of luck,
Right.
But if you're going to get into that stuff, you really need to either come to Blackie's or come to Rewild Outdoors.
Yeah, no, I gotta make some of those trips over there, and I would love to be able to go. I could definitely do some master classes on people. The people the audience that you had there did a lot of them have channels?
No.
Okay.
We had some folks there. That's a different crowd. And I went the route that I went and focusing on skill set because they weren't knife people, right?
Right.
To teach a class on how to choose the knife for you on KnifeTube is totally different than there.
Yeah.
Totally different than there. Um, I had a lot of young folks there. We had a lady with her two granddaughters there. They camped there last year. I gave the two girls, I gave them both more of fixed blades, and I gave grandma that Rosecraft, the one
Oh
that
yeah,
you
that was
got.
cool of him that he donated those knives, man. That was really cool
Well,
of him.
I gave her mine. I gave her one of my personal. But what's the Rosecraft fixed blade you liked a lot?
I like the MA12, the last one.
No, the fixed blade, Bubba.
Oh, the fucking fixed blade. Oh, the fixed blade. I liked the Chase Snyder one, whichever
That,
one that was.
that's the one I gave her.
The
That's the
Chase
one I gave.
Snyder one. I like that Chase Snyder one.
And let me say this because you mentioned it, and I would be terribly remiss, guys. Y'all check out Rosecraft blades. Now listen, here's the deal. I'll cut on camera every day with Rosecraft. I hit up Andy 3 months ago and said, "Hey, brother, that event that I went to last year that you so graciously donated knives, I'm going back." He sent 34 knives. He sent 30 slip joints, and he sent 4 fixed blades that they were able to raffle and give away. And Sean's got some giveaways coming. I had a box of Rosecraft, so shout out to Rosecraft, man. They were kick ass. Think about that. Dude donated 34 knives.
A lot of knives. That's a lot of knives. That's like a
A
whole
lot of
inventory
knives.
of knives, you know?
Gave every last one of them to Sean.
Wow.
So, and I mean, I tell you the truth too, man. I'm excited. I'm excited about tonight's Blade Talk with Jack as well. I'm looking forward to having him on. I got some questions for him. So, let's do this before we bring him in. I can tell you what from now till the end of the year, and I do want to say this to people who are messaging me and leaving comments. Guys, I know I haven't been very responsive. I am buried, and I'm not using that as an excuse. We're moving shops at work. We're at the holiday. I mean, this is as crazy a time as I've been in
Yeah.
the 5.5 years I've been on YouTube. This hands down is the
When's that going to be
business.
over? When you guys going to be officially moved?
We got to be gone by January 1st.
Oh, so all right.
Yeah.
Yes, you got to work right through Christmas to get it done.
Yeah, because my oven is 8 foot by 8 foot by 20 foot long. They won't have, I won't have natural gas or propane. I think we're swapping it. Doesn't matter. I won't have an ignition source. I won't have my natural gas or propane till the first week of December. So I've got to stop in the middle of production, shut down, move the oven piece by piece, set it up, set the spray booth up, get
Right.
my liquid stuff coatings, get my liquid coatings going. So I said all of that to say I'm not whining. I like my job, all that crap that you're supposed to say, but we're going to be slammed. So if you reach out to me, man, please, I'm not dodging anybody. I'm not ducking anybody.
Yeah.
And I don't know anybody's shit. I'm just saying, if I haven't reached out or reached back, I will. I'm just saying.
In other words, guys, Scab's a busy man, so have patience. Let's see what the chat's saying before we get Jack in. Sure shot, brother Joe. If you're in New York City, shit is about to get crazy up there. Election day today. The mayor race. Yeah. Okay. Is that what you mean? Okay. What's that?
This is from, keep going with the chat. I'll just show them some knives.
Yeah.
But the outdoor analyst got a great channel. He sent me this. This is from Very Good Knife Company. It is in Pro Cut. So Jacob Peterson reached out to me. They wanted to get this over to me. It's collaboration somehow with Jacob Peterson, outdoor analyst, and of course Jacob from Very Good Knife Company. And anytime I can review one of his knives. But this is the Pro Cut. This is the new metal that's going to replace the last big thing.
Okay.
So I'm excited about that. Got that.
Steve had that knife, and he says the same thing. He says those rubber hand guards, saw grunt. Steve had rubber hand guards crack and wear off.
Yeah, and it'll beat the shit out of your hands.
Yeah, bro. I never we saw grunt. Steve's such a fucking amazing dude, man.
We gotta have him on, man.
We gotta have it. Steve, I want to get you on Blade Talk. We got to talk, man.
The dude lives across the river from me. Did you know that?
Where's he live?
Across the river from me.
No shit.
We got to hook up and throw some knives or do something. Or when you come down,
those sunrise pictures out every freaking morning, man. What a pleasure. He makes Florida look like it's fucking paradise. Jesus Christ.
Well, if you come down, we got to get over there and see him.
Absolutely. I would love to meet Steve, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
There's a lot of Floridians that have channels.
Well, I wonder why, because you guys have such freaking relaxed fucking knife lords there.
This is the TRC. Should we bring in Jackson? We've been on here about 20 minutes.
Bring Jack in. Yeah. So listen, it's always a pleasure to get American knife companies, especially the smaller American knife makers. And Jack's one of them. He started at a young age. When did you start, Jack? Like 17 or something like that? What are you, like 18 now? What are you? How old are you? So we'll ask him. So he's can't come a long way. And he's going to introduce basically a new style of his knives. And I think they look pretty damn ass kicking. I'm going to show them on screen. He sent me a couple pictures. So if you're ready, Scab, and if your cat's ready, let's get Jack into the room and let's bring our guest in from Shed Knives. Let's bring in Jack Billings from Shed Knives. Mr. Jack.
I'm clapping.
My friends, how are you guys doing?
How are you, my man? How are you? Thanks for hanging in the backstage with us for a little bit.
Of course. Yeah, good to be here. It's been, 2 years since we all got together.
Imagine that, man. 2 years have passed by. Yes, it has. So what have you been doing for the last 2 years, my friend?
If I told you everything, we would be here for a long time. We'd be here for 2 years. But the high points, my goodness. Well, moved shops. We're now in a much larger facility here in southern Delaware. And I'm looking at moving into another facility. Who knows? That might be January, February, or I might just keep it going for another few months. We'll see. Depends on what works. We've got a good flow right now in production, and sometimes it's good to just not interrupt your flow once you've worked so hard to get there. And then the quality of the knives obviously has increased every year. Next level, next level, next level. And Scab, you just reviewed the 2025 sheep's foot. And I need to send you a 2026 because just the comparison between those two, you're going to be like, what in the world? Where are they going to be in another year, another 2 years? So, yeah, we're just making it happen.
Let me interrupt you there. Let me say this too. I need you to send Joe something. I want to pick Joe's knife. I want to pick that one. But look, I want to compliment you before we get too far into this. Remember when I did this knife? This is the one with 23. The
yes.
23. We talked about grind.
Mm-hmm.
You heard me, and I can tell. It's not just the grinds, Jack. Your sharpness has gone through the roof. This is they look similar. The aesthetic's still pretty much there, but night and day, man. Great job on the overall sharpness. I was using this today. Your grinds looking great, but your sharpness has jumped next level. So hats off to you on that, man. I love the improvement there.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been dozens and dozens and hundreds of knives it's taken to make this happen. So, and then just the insane amount of hours. So,
and guys, this young man is 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
In a world of knife makers where we're all a bunch of old fucking fots, this guy is coming in here with his swag at 21 years old, causing havoc, and bringing out some really good products, and it seems like really improving your product. Now, let me take a different approach on this, Jack. Being somebody who hasn't had your knife in my hand, why Shed Knives? How have you improved in the last 2 years? What have you done to improve your product? What have you learned within the last 2 years since the last time we spoke? And why do you think that your product at least is better than when you first started? And then you could probably round it up as far as then to see at what standard or what where your knife stands in terms of today's market. So let's go with basically how you think you improved within the last 2 years of your knife journey.
Yes. Yeah. Well, first things first, says it right on the box here. There is no substitute. There's no substitute to Shed Knives. And we see that through these few adjustments. And what are those adjustments? Good question. Well, it's the G10 scales. We're getting much better at the G10 scales. SCAB, you've got your 2023 sheep's foot there. And this is what we were working with back in 2023. And these were ground out by hand. So they were okay. This is G10, quality material, 100% USA made. Now we added G10 liners here, much better contour. I wish I had better light. Let me see if this works. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, this is a little better. But anyways, did some nice contour here. This is now done on a CNC machine. Yes, handmade knives are wonderful, but when it comes time to doing so many knives, like I sell to the largest knife and outdoor gear distributor in North America. I sell to international customers. I sell knives all over the place. I'm listed on Walmart. There's all sorts of places carrying these knives. So you can only ground so many skills by hand. So that's why I moved to CNC production. So this right here is the 2026 Shed Knife Skewer. And so it just goes into the G10. And then let's talk about the blank. Well, like what SCAB said earlier, the knife grinds have significantly increased, if you can't tell just by this. And we went from a hollow grind here in 2023, and then 2024, 25, and 26, we moved to a flat grind.
I remember the hollow grinds and the issues that we had in the very beginning with the hollow grinds.
Yes, so we fixed that because that's the thing. If you want to get better, you have to make changes. You can't just sit around all day hoping for your knife to change. So we take action. Told my design engineer, I said, hey, we have some problems. They're already good knives, but let's make them great knives. So we fix the grind. We bring the heat treat in-house. We bring milling of the blanks in-house. Everybody is slow. Earth is slow. Everybody takes forever, especially in the knife world. So I thought, let's bring it in-house. Laser engraving is in-house. Grinds are in-house. Blanks are in-house. The G10 is in-house. Everything except probably making the shipping box is in-house. And a lot of companies are limited on performance because they're relying on everybody else, where Shed Knives, we're relying on ourselves. And I don't know about the other people in the knife industry, but my team, we're a bunch of absolute killers who make it happen every single day. And that's just why there is no substitute.
Here's a question about in-house. Short Sharp had said, Jack, do you sell knives from your shop? I live near Salisbury, and I'm up that way every couple of weeks.
I do not sell them from my shop. However, I sell them in Greenwood, Delaware at Willie Knives. They are a fantastic dealer, and they've got a few of the 25s, and they should be bringing in some of the 26s here soon. So you can go check them out in person. And if you're interested, send me an email, sales@shedknives.com. And hey, if my schedule is free, I could even meet you there at their store.
Excellent. Okay. Thanks.
Listen, the handle is night and day, homie. This is a knife made in a shed. This is a professional knife.
That's right.
And that's not a mock, dude.
Oh,
I'm
of
just
course.
saying, you brought it up. This is the 2025, and lighting's bad for both of us. The added liner is worlds apart.
Oh, yes.
dude, it's not even same stratosphere. Now, I was going to ask you, because obviously the liner adds a bit of thickness, right? But it didn't add that much. How much thicker are you going with your handles now? Because that liner did, I mean, this is professional. This is clean. I love this. And it's not that I didn't love this, but I'm impressed with your 2-year growth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm impressed with how you've grown in these 2 years.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, so with the thickness, and let me break out my light again here. So with the thickness, see if we can get this right. And check out the contour as well. This is blue and black. This is called Atlantic Blue. And again, it's a 2026 year. So if you compare it to your 2025, even the contour on this is a little bit different. But the thickness, we keep the thickness for 2026, same thing as 2025. It might be a 1/16 of an inch thinner as possible, but for the most part, it's really the same thickness. It's not a significant difference in terms of that. But when it comes to the contour, the new knives, just the edges and everything, because I had a lot of people say that online the knives look blocky, looks like a Lego set, blah, 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 all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, you're right. Let's fix it. Let's make it better. Let's take it to the next level. And I think that's just why so many people love shed knives. It's because year after year, week after week, we just continue to take it to the next level. Even when people say, oh man, we love your knives. It can't get any better. And then we just bring it to the next level. We find a way.
Now you've also changed your pommel, your pommel. Yeah. Talk to me about that.
Yes, that's nice. I like the that's one change that I really like that you made is that pommel, as SCAB says. Yeah.
Yes. So I thought the circle was good because, I mean, it's a circle. You just take a 1/2-inch drill bit and drill through. And that one you have there with the circle, that was actually water jet cut. So I thought it looked nice, but this is a really good, like, what is this here? The self-defense. This is a good self-defense knife right here. And because sometimes, let's just say you're in a situation where you have to defend yourself. Sometimes you need to use more than just a blade. You got to use both sides of the knife. So that's why I did this, but also for looks, because a lot of people, yes, they want a functional knife.
Yeah.
They want a knife that looks good. So that's
I always want a knife that looks good. Let me be a devil's advocate here. If I have that fucking knife in my hand, right, and I just slammed that damn thing against a fucking paver stone, am I going to damage it?
You're going to damage everything but the knife.
Okay. That's what I want to know. There's one really awesome feature on like Phobos knives that they have a pommel similar to that. And that's just one thing I'm a fan of. If you're going to have a pommel like that, I want that pommel to be basically not stupid shit, obviously, but you want to be able to have that durability in a pommel you got to just wedge something in or bang it against something that is going to basically not ruin the whole integrity of the knife.
Oh, 100%. And I just want to highlight some of my customers for a second. Everything I do is not customer focus, it's end user focus. Because I sell knives to all sorts of people who don't use them. They send them to other people who use them, and then they give the feedback. So I keep it end user focused. And I think, who is going to take my knife, end up on Mount Washington in New Hampshire, end up in some desert somewhere in the Middle East? Who is going to have my knives in whatever situation, and they need to perform. They need to be the absolute best, because I would hate to live with the fact if somebody used my knife and they couldn't get themselves out of a situation and it was my fault. So everything I do, I need to make sure they have the best knife possible. And what's unfortunate is a lot of companies today, they're thinking, hey, what sells online? What's a good item people will sell right now? They don't think about 30 days, 90 days later when that knife is in the middle of nowhere and they forgot their map and compass.
Question, what steels are you using now, and is it different from the steels you started using, and why?
Yes, they're different from when I started. I was using a high carbon steel then, similar to 1095. Today, I use 154 cm steel. It is by far the best. I hear countless people, countless arguments. 154. Oh, it's okay. It's good. No, how we heat treat it, how we tailor it to our knives. We're
That's the
making
key.
fixed blades here. Fixed blades need a strong steel. Yes, it's stainless steel, but it's just stainless enough and it has enough carbon in it where it's a solid steel. So 154 cm, I see it as literally the best steel for this type of knife for fixed blades. Kitchen knives, folders, that's a different story. But I've only really used two types of steel. I've used that 1095 type steel, a very affordable version of it, American made. And then in 2023, I moved to 154 cm and I haven't turned my back since.
How much do you use your knives, Jack?
Oh, every day. I was walking around. So just for reference, I'm down here in Florida, SCAB. I'm on the Gulf side. I'm looking at some new shops down here. I'm walking around all day long. I've got my skewer with me. And when I'm not carrying this, this is more of my day-to-day shop knife. This is called the Skewer Light. This is my mini version of the skewer. As you can see, we'll just compare these two. So all we did is just take the design of the skewer, we scaled it down, made it a skeleton knife. This one has a hollow grind, 154 cm steel, 1/4 inch thick, very thick, and 1.6 ounces. So I use them every day. You have to use a knife every day when you're at a knife shop, and I have to carry them because if I carried any other knife, like I used to carry this Benchmade here, this Benchmade bug out. I used to like them until I started carrying the Skewer Light, which this will be an updated version for 2026. This is a 25 coming out with the 26 here shortly. But I traded in my folding knives to carry the Skewer Light or the Skewer because they just work better.
Right.
I'm a pocket fixed blade guy. I took the sheep's foot with me this past weekend. I can tell you, I didn't take the 2023 one as anywhere really. I did the review and I liked it, but the 2025 has resonated with me. I used it today. I keep it in the car. I did the review and I threw it in the car, but I don't say that like it sounds like I say. If I put a knife in my car, then I use it, and I absolutely 100% use a knife every day. I do not. I cannot imagine anybody on KnifeTube who doesn't cut every day. I'm not saying on camera. I'm saying but use a knife. And what I found while I was sitting down there using it, it was really, really good because it is a thick knife. It's a thick knife it is a sharpened pry bar, but you have made it into a cutting tool. I was able to process up a bunch of fat wood. And what I liked about it, Jack, is you know how when you get a lot of lighter knot and you get this sticky stuff that peels? Well, when you get lighter knot that starts to dry out and you get that actual knot, right? The thing that I did today is I held the knife just like that, right? And I had the lighter knot just like this, and I was able just to do little scoops. And man, I got the best shavings off of that.
How many inches is that blade?
What, Bubba?
How many inches is that blade?
How many?
Yeah, the sheep's foot should be right around 6.5. Should be right around there. The skewer, those are right under.
We're talking overall.
No, the blade itself. No, the blade itself.
Blade itself on that one's around 6 inches.
Oh, it is 6 inches. It doesn't look like that, but I guess it is. Okay.
Yeah, it should be right around 6. Unless
what is your, as a knife maker and as actually, not a knife maker, as a knife user, take yourself out of the knife making because probably that's what bridges you into a knife maker. As a knife user, what's the ultimate size blade? Is that like the ultimate size blade for you that you can get pretty much everything you need, 90% of everything you need to get done? Because I know there's a lot of people that have a huge belief in producing knives that don't trump 6 inches, 5 inch type of blade, And some people like the big choppers. Some people think they're just a waste. I mean, I think there's a place for every knife, to be honest with you. But what is your take on basically why you produce the knife that you produce as a knife user?
That is a fantastic question. And that has two answers. For 2025, I absolutely love the big blades and I would use them. I carry them in my vehicle. I take them out to the field. I love the big blades and so do my customers. But I started seeing on a day-to-day basis, a big blade is not something you're dragging around with you, especially all of my knives are a 1/4 inch thick with steel. And that's pretty substantial. So, I mean, you've got some of the photos there, like the Momentum. That's a pretty big blade. But on a day-to-day, a blade that's 3-ish inches or less, that's what I find helpful just in my day-to-day operations. And I find it so helpful that I actually discontinued all of my big blades for 2026. And I'm focusing on 4 models, focusing on the Skewer Light right here, which is this tiny one. I'm focusing on the Skewer. I'm focusing on the US Tonto, which is a similar size, and another knife called the Journey, which is a drop point, and it's going to be a total of 8 inches, just about this size as well. So I'm focusing on a bunch of knives that you can carry all day long. I would like to bring the big blades back, as we all love them. However, I was focused entirely on functionality this year for 2026. And I just thought, hey, if I need to cut the big ones, I can always bring them back. But let's focus on 10 variants and just get really, really good at it.
I think that's a fantastic idea. That's brilliant. You need to basically really focus in on key target notes, key target knives. I think that's a great idea. That's perfect.
Oh, of course. And
Yeah.
I wish a lot of other companies would do this. Because I got to say this, I look at the knife industry, I go to Blade Show, I see the tables of knives and all sorts of stuff. If you can dream it, it's probably at one of the Blade shows. And if you can't find it there, it's definitely online. So I go there and I just think, man, if these guys honed in on a few knives, if they honed in on 10, I mean, 10 is quite a bit for me, but if they focused on 10 models, they would have even better products. And I think that's why the knife industry, in my lens, because I see the backside of things, I think we are so under, just we could be so much better because everybody's focused on everything but the end user, everything but a few knives. I just focus on what works.
I don't think anybody thinks about the end user these days in general in life.
It's unfortunate. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
In this country, the end user is fucking last to be thought about. Bridging around SCAB. Let me just get to, I don't know if you had something. It just came to mind. I want to spit it out. Given that what you just said about basically looking at the knife industry in general and seeing basically the negative, I want you to talk about the positive. I want to know, as a young guy, I mean, you are young, growing up with knives, being enthused about knives, wanting to be a knife maker as you got older, what brands, companies, and or designers have influenced your decisions, or do you look up to, or do you look at them as basically as somebody that you admire what they do? How much influence, or any influence at all, did it give you in your adventure into basically making your own knives? Is there any brands that you wouldn't like to highlight that you have
for
looked up
sure?
to?
Yeah, there's a few of them. Oh my goodness, that's a deep question right there, but I love it because a few of them that stood out to me right away were the ones everybody carries, like the Buck 110. It's functional. It's got like essentially no bells and whistles to it.
Right.
I think the only additional thing is the little finger groove to open the blade.
Yeah.
But the Buck 110, that's a good one. But I quickly started appreciating Chris Reeve. And yes, Chris Reeve knives, but Chris Reeve, the actual maker.
Yeah,
because I love watching factory tours. As a kid, I think I'm sure you guys remember the show How It's Made. I'm an only child. All I would do is either build stuff in Legos, make stuff outside, play in the woods, or I'd be watching How It's Made. I didn't watch anything else except How It's Made. So it's just kind of ingrained in my mind. But yeah, Chris Reeve, listening to his interviews, watching his performance. And I think Chris Reeve, if he was still actively in the day-to-day operations, I think it would be a much better company. However, Chris Reeve, when he was, in the grit, in the trenches, I really, really admire what he's done there.
Good.
And then let's see, just one thing as a young guy looking at the knife industry, I do enjoy, and I enjoyed it more as I was learning. Now I've found what works and I'm sticking with it. But as I was getting into it, I was always appreciative of how many people there were to give suggestions. There are so many people that it's almost like anybody new, as long as you're a reasonable person, a reasonably, approachable person, okay, the knife industry will open their arms to you. Like literally, you'd have to be like some complete idiot for people to turn you away, and they just push you to some other part of the knife industry. So
you can't be more correct. I mean, SCAB knows. We've had the big wigs on. We've had Curtis Levito from Spartan Blades. We've had Greg Medford. All those guys are just basically, they're just humble enough where they'll try to help everybody out. If you're able to reach out to them and talk to them, I mean, they're always, especially if you meet them in Blade Show and you need some advice. I mean, they're always willing to help new knife makers out. I mean, it's that type of industry. I mean, it's just everybody's kind of just, they're there for each other, which is good.
And
that is good.
I have to highlight two people. Number one being Lynn Thompson. Lynn Thompson, oh my goodness. I think that's part of why I started making knives was watching Fortune Fire coupled with Lynn Thompson chopping pigs' heads off. Like that really
he's the GOAT, man.
Seriously. And we talked at Blade Show. He came to Shed Knives, came to our booth. We got a photo together, talked quite a bit, loved the knives. So he's an awesome dude. And I just think that's absolutely wonderful. And then recently, Greg Medford has been recently, as of 2023, I got to chat with him quite a bit. And man, he I think gave me more advice and more conversation in the actual running of a business and how to be a top performer, because there's only so many top performers in the industry. There's only really a handful because they're top performers. And I would throw Greg Medford in that boat, and just how he is. I'd say he's like the Donald Trump of the knife industry. Everybody hates him, but we wouldn't have it without him. So, so I look up to some of those guys, and I just want to wrap up the question here with some other knives. I do, when I was first getting into big fixed blades, I like K-Bar. K-Bar really, really spoke to me. I mean, if a branch of the military, the Marine Corps, is carrying your knife, you must be doing something right. So the K-Bar, I like the K-Bar Kukri the best. That jumped out at me. And then you see some other brands like SE, Tops, those guys. Okay, I'd say I'm more like competing with them at this stage. And it's the same thing. I do think they could bring themselves to the next level, but that's what Shed Knives is here. We bring ourselves to a new bar, raise the bar every single year. And that's what we're here for.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. SCAB, go ahead, man.
Well, the biggest thing, son, is this. You do you worry with you, let them do them.
Yeah,
but I'm going to tell you, listen to me, son. Mean what you say and say what you mean. And if you tell somebody you're going to do it, you do it, or you get on the phone and say, I can't do it.
Yep.
Don't let ego get in the way. Ego's killed a lot of people. It's killed a lot of, and Jack, there's nothing wrong, as bad as it sucks, with getting on the phone, because I'm going to tell you, it's better for a customer to be mad at you for the first 5 minutes.
Yep.
Then you tell them what they want to hear and you lose them. I think you're on the right track. I think you're on the right path. I like the way you're narrowing it down. I do want to see you go back to the big knives, and I want to throw something at you for future. Stick to your plan. And I don't know why, but this knife, when I walked in the room, when I walked in to sit down,
I love that.
I want to see you do something like this. What is your, now, not not till 20 when you get this other nail dialed in. But I picked this knife up and I said this would make a great shed knife. Just the size, you'd have to bring the knife to it, right? To it. But what is the largest knife you can manufacture now?
Largest right now is 14 inches. The largest I made, I think, was 13. And that was because any bigger, I'd have to start ordering.
Well, that's with the
much
tang.
larger
That's
boxes.
the whole plate with the tang.
Right.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. 13 inches total.
Yeah.
I'd like to get to machete size knives and, well, essentially machetes then. I'd like to get to that point. But since all of my knives are milled out on a CNC machine in-house, you can only work with how big the table is. So once we upgrade to machines, I will for sure, even if it's not profitable, I don't care. I have to get a big blade out that's the size of a machete that you can just, wield around and carry, and it's like, yes, this is power.
We can make it profitable. That's the thing. But the reason I ask you that, like with your heat treat, one of the first things I noticed when I got the box in, because if you remember, and I'm sure you remember better than anybody, but in 2023, there was the whole heat treat thing. But as soon as I opened it this time, and I don't know what drew me to it, you're doing your heat treat in-house.
Of course.
And I mentioned that earlier. What brought that about? Because that I'm proud of you for, but what brought that about?
Yes. So I brought it in-house because I had enough trouble with people being slow. And I won't say their name because they're a wonderful company and I encourage people to work with them. However, my experience, I just move quick. Everything has to be done now. Okay. Yes, I'm young. Yes, a lot of young people think that. But from a business standpoint, time is money. We have to be moving fast. As long as it's quality. If we're doing a good job, we can move fast. If we're doing a bad job, we need to stop and make sure it's good. And then we move fast again. So anyways, back to the heat treat. I was having these weeks on end without knives. They were at the heat treat. They're in the UPS truck. They're coming back. And I sent a batch of knives to the heat treat. This was my last batch. I sent I think it was $15,000, $20,000 worth of knives to them. And when they came back, $1,500 of them were damaged from the shipping. And I had enough of that. I just had enough. I lose time, I lose money, and it was very expensive. I was paying upwards of sometimes it was like $10, $15 a knife, which is just like ridiculous when you're doing 100+ knives. So I brought it in-house. I had my work evaluated by folks who evaluate NASA parts. So if the parts are good enough to go to the moon, I think they're good enough to carry on your hip. So that's just my look at it. And once they evaluated my work, they tested the Rockwell over and over and over again. I said, perfect, let's do it in-house. Let's move everything in-house. And by bringing them in-house, all the knives have a slightly darker finish to them, which just adds, I'm going to be honest here,
that, actually.
I think it speaks about Shed Knives. Shed Knives is showing that there is grit. As we move forward, there is it's like we're walking through a trench. We're in like World War I trench warfare, and it's gonna get gritty. Life is tough, but we're tougher, and that's why we carry these knives, and that's why we make them. So I think it's good to see our knives are getting a bit darker. They're getting a bit tougher, and that's how it should be.
It's noticeable. I actually was noticing that earlier. I've said it before, and I'll say it again.
Can you see that again, Scab? Can you hold them up again?
Yeah. The bottom here. Let me turn this away. Turn this over here. Here we go. All right. So the bottom is the new one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You could definitely see it.
Now,
especially the grinds.
Right here, look at this. You can tell a difference in the handles as well.
Oh, yeah.
One on the right is the modern, the 2025. I mean, that's leaps and bounds, son. And then again, the color.
Oh, yeah. And
a
we
very
made the
good steel,
jimping.
man.
Take a look at that jimping there. So for the new one, that 2025, we increased the jimping to 1/8 of an inch.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just made that so much tougher. And that's all we do. We just look at what's working and hey, how can we make it better?
And that, real quick before you take me off, Joe, those G10 liners, that
Yeah.
really makes that handle pop.
How many millimeters is that spine there, man?
Oh, the spine, it's 6.35 millimeter.
Well, I was
actually
thinking about 5 or
6.2.
6. Yeah, that's a big chunk of freaking steel, man.
Yeah, it is. Now,
Scab,
one
I'm
thing-
looking at what you're doing right now, and I got a gift I'm getting you, so expect something soon. It's going to change your life.
Micrometer.
He's going to change his life. He's going to see.
the 7/8. So the handle, that which is pretty. The thing about the handle is this: it fits to me. I like it, right?
Mm-hmm.
For this knife, for what it does, I like it. I like the fact that if I need to, I used it a good bit this past weekend at camp, not just making a fat wood, but busting some up for the lighter knot using that pommel. I busted a coconut with it the other day, just messing around. I think what I'm gonna do probably Thursdays, take it to work and we'll put it against some cinder blocks and things like that. But the overall construction is there. I'm digging it. I can't wait to see your 2026.
Awesome.
I'm really looking forward to what you got. The sharpness just makes all the difference. Take me off.
Definitely. And I just want to highlight something while we're talking about the quality improvements. For 2026, one thing I noticed is that inside these little grooves here, inside like the skeleton, inside the lanyard hole, I noticed that when we mill on the CNC machine, when we do, it's called a 2D contour pass. The drill bit comes in, mills out the knife. I noticed it was clean, but there was some like variation in the milling. So what we went ahead and did for 2026, we took here, let me just show this one. We took the knife, this is a 2025, and we just did a second pass. We have it cut out the knife, and then we have it run through it again, and you get a much cleaner cut. Everything, even the scales, the alignment on the scales is literally perfect, and that's what I'm going for.
So check it out. Listen, the spine, this is the new one, right? Okay.
Yes.
This is spine that you cut out, right? This is clean, and I carried it today. I have a knife that's between $300 and $400 that looks like shit compared to this. Seriously, this, Joe, what I'll try to do a short, but like even the difference here, like this looks like it needs to be sanded or ground. This is smooth. They're like a different company, dude. It's like a different company. It's like you nutted up, you knuckled up, and you've made just vast improvements. And nobody, you're not going to break that. And somebody, like, send it to Joe X. I'll send him this one. I have no problem with it.
And you know, that's the thing. I've been talking with Joe X for literally a couple years now, and I need to get him a knife. The thing is, why I didn't send him a knife before is because I was like, oh, I'm coming out with a better one here in like a month or two. And then I'm testing, and I'm like, you know what? I'm designing a new knife. Let me just send it.
You're always looking ahead.
I just got to put one in the mail.
If I could interrupt, Michael Snyder, thank you for the gifted membership, my friend. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
Good job, Michael.
Yeah, Jack.
Yeah, so, and then I just want to highlight a few of the internal things, a few accessories that you get. So the Kydex sheath here, okay, we even upgraded the Kydex sheath. Let's go ahead and compare the 2023. So the Kydex sheath has been the last thing to be improved. I was using the same processes in the fall of 2022 as I was just a few months ago. And I thought I change everything and make it better every single year. Why has the sheath not changed? So I went ahead and I made the sheath CNC milled out, so you can see. And if you don't mind, could we go to the full
Yes.
view here,
Give me a
just to get a close
second.
up?
There we go. Okay.
So we can even see just how the indent is with the knife. This one just stands out so much better. It looks really nice in here with the 2026 here. So clicks right in, just the fit and finish.
Yeah, you kind of see like the actual shadow of the blade itself.
That's right, and that's what we want.
Kind of like what the K-Bar did with their new slabby. I like that. That's a really cool one. Yeah.
So, and then I did one in red here, just as a sample. So the red looks pretty good. I think we.
Yeah, I like that. I'm a big fan of that. I like that a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, and then also the clip. I partnered up with Matt over at Discrete Carry Concepts, and I was using Kydex clips. And so let's go ahead and highlight this here. The clips, these are made by DCC, Discrete Carry Concepts, and I'll show off the sticker. I actually, literally while I was waiting to get on here with the podcast, I had a friend text me. He's like, "What's with the sticker? What's this for? Is this a self-defense map?" I was like, "No. I mean, yes, but no, it's just the logo for the clip." So Matt and the team at Discrete Carry Concepts, absolute fantastic job. I've never talked to somebody more passionate and more knowledgeable about these clips, and they are absolute top performers. And that's what I want. I want people who are the best in their field, and we can all come together. Yeah. We can all use our resources, and me, who's somebody who's really good at making knives, we can use the best of the best and make the best knives on the market.
Versatility and carrying is very, very important. I actually just did a revisit that I'm going to be posting probably after this live, a revisit on Fisher blades. And I love the type of carrying options that they give you and the quality of the carrying options, because people are very into basically how they're carrying their knives. I mean, the biggest mistake that K-Bar made with the great knives that they came out with is the fact that they didn't include any carrying options on it. Nothing fucking included. And people like, yeah, it's a great knife, but how the fuck am I going to carry it? And I got to go spend more money on something else. So if you can kind of always have that in mind, again, the end user, that's what they want. People want to be able to know that they can do a scout, they could go to vertical, they could change things up a little bit. I would love for you to maybe think about maybe some leather.
I've thought about leather, and I gotta say,
I think your knives will look amazing in a leather sheath.
I'm one of the few guys probably on the planet that cannot endorse leather. I think I like the idea of leather.
Yeah.
But for what my knives are built for, leather would be an inconvenience. It would negatively impact the end user. Now, most people are not going out on like the TV show Alone with my knife. That's not most people's reason of purchase. I like leather. I like the idea of it. I like how it looks. But anytime I have ever carried a leather sheath, I just obliterate the thing. I got knives poking out the side. I'm chopping the leather. It's wet. It's moldy. I'm just like, just throw it away. Get a Kydex sheath. Get something that's actually good. So that's where I tend to get a bit varied in opinion when it comes to that. So, but hey, if people like leather sheaths, the dimensions are online. They're on my website, shedknives.com. And hey, if leather works best for you, you're the one carrying the knife. So leather sheaths are available. You can use the dimensions. Go fit a leather sheath to the knife. So, yeah.
Any question for you?
Let's see here. Jack, I like your designs. Thank you very much. Have you thought about making a lighter, thinner blade? Yes, I have. And it's the 1/4 inch thick skewer light, which will be coming out for 2026 again. This has been a very popular knife, but I feel like you're referencing the blade thickness, and will we do a thinner blade stock? And as of now, no, simply because we're focusing on the heavier duty big built heavier duty knives, and it just works. And I got to say, when you get to carrying a knife that, yes, it has a little weight, but once it's in your pocket, I mean, I was walking around the mall today with this thing in my pocket, and I mean, who knows? Maybe somebody knew. I don't know. But it really, believe it or not, it's kind of concealable. And these clips here, you can just slip them right in your pocket. You can put them right on your belt.
Yeah, I like those clips. That's similar to like the it's similar to the McNasty from Fisher Blades. I exactly have that same clip, and that's how I carry the PK McNasty, the smaller McNasty dagger, exactly with that clip. Put it right. Oh, that's absolutely perfect. I'm a big fan of that carrying option. It's really good,
and it works. And you know where I got that suggestion from? One of my customers, one of my end users, was like, "Hey, Jack, the clips are okay. We can make them better. How about you check out Discreet Carry Concepts?" So that same day, I ordered a few clips, checked him out, and I was like, yeah, this dude's right. And he actually sent me an email the day of the knife release, and he said, hey, I see you took my suggestion. So for anybody who carries my knives or is considering carrying my knife, I listen to you. And if I hear enough people give suggestions and list improvements, I'm going to implement them, because why else would I not implement them if it's going to make the product better?
Excellent. You got to listen.
Yeah.
Scabo.
It's been good.
I'm just listening. I'm doing what I do best. Jack, were you in the Boy Scouts?
I was, yes. Yes. Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts.
How much of that experience has influenced your knife world?
Probably a little too much. I was selling knives at Boy Scout camping trips. They knew, look for the dude in the cowboy hat. I would wear a cowboy hat because no one in Delaware is wearing cowboy hats. So identifiable. But I'd sell knives at the Boy Scouts. Through being in the field, our troop was very active. The goal of our troop was to go camping at least once a month. And so being out there, you're setting up fires, you're doing shelters, all that stuff. And I was a lot of people don't know this, but I worked at a Boy Scout camp for 2 years. I was a sailing instructor there. And this is literally why my knives have lanyard holes on them, is because I was concerned I'm going to lose my knife. So I would just hook it to the boat. So if the boat sinks, well, the knife is a part of the boat. So at least I know where it is. Yeah. So it's definitely.
I think we should do a poll, Scab. I think we should do a poll and see how many knife makers were actually Cub Scouts, Eagle Scouts. How many made Eagle? I would love to know if they have a history, because I can honestly see how that would definitely turn anybody into a knife maker, or a camper, an outdoorsman, or something like that. That's kind of an interesting question. I like that. That's cool.
When I first went to Blackie's, right, there's a lot of gentlemen that go there now who are retired or former Scout masters, right? And it 100% influences how they use the knife, how they handle the knife, how they accept the knife from you. You learn all kind of things from these guys. They've taught my grandson and myself knife safety. I mean, that it's just a deep-rooted background in knife use that we don't see anymore. And it plays, Joe, to the class that I was teaching this past Friday.
Right.
Skill set when choosing a knife, right? And I had to. That was my topic: how to choose a knife for you. But I had to teach it not to knife tubers. It was people who we had folks first time camping, second time camping, and I was watching. I could just about tell you who had been either in the Scouts or in the military, right?
Yeah.
The way they set up their camp, by the way they move, by the way they function. So Jack, tell me a story about you camping one time where one of your knives really played in big.
Wilderness survival.
Okay.
Wilderness survival. So for any of my scouters out there, you may know this. You have a merit badge program you can take. It's called Wilderness Survival. And I would take it every single year. You can only get it once, but I took it every single year. I just love this. And one of the things they would do is you have to go. I don't know if this was in the manual, if it was like word for word, but this is at least how this scout camp operated. They said Friday night, or what was it, Thursday night, something like that, you're going to head into the field. you need to build a shelter, and you can only bring like 2 things. And so my 2 things, I brought a flashlight, and you could bring your knife. I guess that was our number 3, but that was just a given. Okay. Wilderness survival, a knife, it goes hand in hand. So I'd bring my fixed blade, I'd bring my flashlight, and I bring a tarp. Those for me, I can live anywhere in the world, at least that I think, with those 3 things: a knife, a light, a tarp. You're good. And I would build a hut. I love huts, teepees, anything where you have branches that do this and you fill it in. That type of shelter is my go-to. And you got to process that material. I would make my own natural cordage, and a fixed blade is perfect for that. You just find what I would do. I would find a green tree, and I would use the bark of that while it's still fresh. And I would use that to do my lashings, so that way we could put the moss, grass, that sort of thing into the shelter. And it got to the point where people, like I've taken the course so many times that there would be instructors like, didn't I have you last year? Didn't I have you for 2 years or something? Like, and I'm like, yes, I just love this. I just want to go build a shelter. Forget the rest of the stuff. First aid this, first aid that. Let me just build a shelter and sleep in it for the night. And so that's probably the best go-to fixed blade story I could give, because I've done it so many times.
Right.
It's just get your knife, make some lashings, build your shelter, and you're set.
And I'm going to tell you, if you've never made a shelter, that's something that everybody watching this ought to do or try one time.
Go do it, of course.
Get a tarp, get a light, get a knife, get whatever you want, but try it. And I think that, let me ask you this, and then I'll turn it back over to Joe. When it comes to skill set and building a skill set, give me one thing that people can do with your knives that will help their skill set with a knife. Not necessarily your knife, but a knife. By using your knife.
Wonderful question. Well, I encourage something tough for sure. And I mean, I got to say, using different parts of the knife, like you got to think outside the box with this, like the sharpening choil. You can use that. You can use the jimping scab. You were showing this off. You were using the ferro rod. You were starting a fire. So you can do that with my knife quite well, but you can also do that with other people's knives. So just try and think outside of the box. Yes, you have a blade. Yes, you have a very sharp blade, but what else is part of the knife? So hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah. Okay, so starting a fire. What about a tri-stick? Have you done any tri-sticks with your knife?
Tri-sticks. Tell me that. Describe like traps.
Morse Kaczynski.
I'll show you one. I have one made. Hold on.
You know the Morse Kaczynski, where you do I think it's 9 or 10 different notches on the stick.
Oh, I see here. Okay.
You have all the different names.
I got you. Yes,
notch,
that's a good one.
Pot notch, arrowhead, things like that. All these different types of notches. This is actually a tri-stick that I made a little while ago, and I got all these diagrams of different types of things you can make on a tri-stick that would help you out in survival. There's a pot hook, different types of geometrics that you can carve out on this tri-stick here. So it's kind of like a practice hobby thing,
That's, the thing is, I've probably done a bazillion of those. I just don't know the name for it. And I got to say, that's one problem of doing everything yourself is you do it, but you don't know the name. That's why the sheep's foot, the 2023, 2025, the sheep's foot, I thought the name was cool, so I just called it a sheep's foot, and everyone got mad. They're like, that's not a sheep's foot blade. I was like, okay, great. Go make your own knife company then. So...
Wait, why is it not a sheep's foot?
Why is it not a sheep's foot? I thought it was
a sheep's foot. So the sheep's foot blade, if you look up a standard sheep's foot, most sheep's feet, as we'll call it, they do not have that drastic of a belly. So, and the point on there, some people confuse it with, number one, they think it's been broken off, and number two, they think it's my attempt at maybe an American Tonto of sorts. So I've just sold so many of them and made so many and marketed so many of that sheep's foot that people have just thought, oh yeah, this is a sheep's foot. This is it. But if you look up the textbook definition, it is not. And
This
it's
is,
okay.
in truth, this is a Warncliffe. This is a modified Warncliffe. But when you look at it, I like sheep's foot. Sheep's foot.
It works. People know the name, and people like that knife because
It's a shed. It's a shed knives sheep's
foot. That's right. Exactly.
Well, it is modified. I mean, you could call it a modified because
modified sheep's foot. Yeah.
Yeah, because a Warncliffe has more of a point. This does, and it does not. Yeah, I like that you put a point. I'm using.
You put the word modified in front of any fucking geometric, and you could make anything you want as long as you put the word modified in it.
You're
anything is game.
That's right.
And the truth is, I like that you have. Oh, here it is. I like that you have a point. In my opinion, for witchcraft, for things like that, you need something of a point, and that works as good as anything. You know what I'm saying? For what we're doing, if you need to make a bow drill, you can. If you need to drill anything out, you can. If you need to do some light stabbing, you can. I like that, and I think it's necessary. I really do. The other thing that's good with this blade, and then Joe, I'm gonna turn it over to you because we've been running for a minute. The other thing that's good with this blade, Jack, that I like that you did, a sheep's foot or a Warncliffe is an excellent work knife. Not just outdoors. This is a phenomenal work knife. This is a knife I take to work. I can take to work. I can hand it off to a coworker who don't have a clue about a knife. I don't have to worry about them destroying my knife. This will do whatever they, if I look over and they happen to be stabbing a bucket, I'm okay with using this knife. But as far as cutting, slicing, whatever, again, dude, I'm so proud of you and the improvements you've made. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, not just the aesthetic, but the fun.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you.
It really means a lot. Really proud of you, man. Joseph?
You know what, Jack? I mean, given the fact that the last time I really encountered your knives about 2 years ago, and, as far as talking to you about them and stuff, very impressed with not only just the product itself and you deciding to do things in-house and improving the design and the pommel and everything like that, and really just kind of thinking about your designs and trying to see basically what can be better and the end user, and all the great conversations that we had in this live. I'm very impressed at how much you've grown.
Yeah,
well,
not to sound condescending or anything, but I'm very impressed at how much you've grown in your confidence level since the last time we spoke, and that's always a good thing to see. And even though you are still a freaking baby at 21 years old,
we still have a lot to go.
You're still a fucking baby. I'm gonna still call you baby. I don't care. But at 21 years old, you're still a really young man, and I'm sure you got a lot of improving to do. But I'm really impressed with how much you've grown and how much your confidence level, and how you're just basically taking that and improving your product, and you're not afraid to take chances. So I commend you on that. I'm really loving what the knife looks like. It's a freaking little mini tank. I like the design, and I think it's going to be an incredibly freaking capable knife. And I'm not selling it, but I got to tell you, I think that everyone should take a look at it because I think it's a damn good knife.
Well, I appreciate it. And I need to get you one. I feel bad. 2 out of the 3 of us here have one. I need to get you
no worries, brother. No worries. No worries.
And I just want to give something for anybody listening with the confidence part, because literally before getting on here, I looked at our podcast from 2 years ago, and I was like, my goodness, this is a different person. And I got to say, with the confidence part, the secret to the confidence and the secret to just having something good is effort, is work. You just have to put in the hours. You have to put in the work. And my team, not just me, but the people who are building these knives and designing them and making it happen, we are absolute workaholics. I texted the guy who is my dealer sales guy, started a few months ago at this point. I texted him, I said, this is our motto. We need to do mass amounts of push-ups every single day. We need to drink a ton of water every single day. And we need to work inhuman amounts of time every single day. And that's how we can win. That's how we can be the absolute best, because my customers work hard. I work hard. My knives work hard. We just all constantly improve, constantly get better. And I encourage everybody, no matter where you are, no matter how terrible everything seems, we just have to keep pushing and do the best with what we've been dealt.
Great advice, man. Great advice. Now, we're going to close this off. Any closing statements you have in terms of looking forward to what's ahead? Could be the immediate future, could be the distant. Anything you want to close off about Shed Knives and about basically where you're going from here?
100%. Yeah, well, first things first, we're going to continue to the best of my ability. We're going to continue to grow, continue to improve, continue to get better. And in the immediate future, we have 3 more knives to release. This right here, the 2026 Shed Knives here, is available. We have 3 more models that are going live within the next few weeks. So that's immediate future, but keeping things moving. We are just absolutely moving forward. We're doing the right thing. We're just trying to put in the hours as long as possible. And we're just trying to set a good example for those out there who are watching, because there's many of them. And we need good examples for both our peers and the youth. And as somebody young, we need more people who are willing to put in the effort when no one else will. And that's why there truly is no substitute to Shed Knives. That's all I have to say. Thank
Fantastic, you, Jack. Much appreciated. And yeah, just it's like I said this a long time ago. I'll say that now. It's just great to see, young men your age basically doing what you're doing in today's day and age, because it is an inspiration for others to kind of follow in those footsteps. Because listen, the more people that are in the trade, the better the trade's going to get, the better the competition's going to get, and the better the product is going to get, and the more long lasting it's going to be for all of us old timers who really do love knives. So it's always a good thing for people our age to see people your age kind of getting into the trade. So I'll close mine off from there. Anything you want to add, SCAB?
Man, thank to all for all the love and support from all of you guys watching. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for supporting us. Hey, I'm genuinely excited to see where Shed goes in the future. Joe, that's it for me. Close us out of here.
Fantastic. And for all of you in the chat room that have been joining us on the vertical short lives that we're experimenting with today, I appreciate you guys being here. I can see who's in the chat room from the vertical lives, and I see there's a lot of unfamiliar faces that I know, but they're joining us through the shorts feed. So that's kind of pretty damn cool. So we appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for everyone that commented. If you have any questions for Jack, please feel free to comment on any of our channels, and I'm sure Jack will be able to answer questions for you. We'll monitor that for him. We'll get the questions over to him. And if you are not subscribed to our channels, please do so and help the channels out, as you know. And check out Jack Billings of Shed Knives. He's on Instagram. What's the Instagram?
Instagram, shed.knives. If you Google Shed Knives and I'm not the first 6 pages, I'm doing something wrong. So Shed Knives it is.
All right. So you can find them on social media. You can find them on Google. So thanks, guys. Much appreciated. And Jack, stay in the room while I close it out. And have a great night, everybody. Until the next Blade Talk with SCAB and Joe, I bid you farewell. And go out and get yourself a knife, a sword, a blade, man, and go enjoy yourself. Have a good one, guys. Have a good night. Ciao.